I'm joined today by Pat Garritty, the founder of the Trilliant Real Estate Group, to talk about some exciting news and a big announcement. But first, for some context, Trilliant has been serving Central Alberta, specifically the Sylvan Lake area, for the better part of 14 years. Pat, you and your agents have nurtured a strong community brand. You're a household name in the Sylvan Lake area with a significant market share. How would you describe the brand and the reputation that Trilliant has in the community there? What is Trilliant known for?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, David. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. You and your ability to do this is something that we look up to, and so we appreciate the opportunity. Trilliant Real Estate Group is, our tagline is fiercely local, and we live and breathe that on a daily basis. So what does that mean? That means that we give back to the community, we engage in our community, and we know that you can't give more than you receive. So we just want to make sure that we're supporting all aspects of our community from a volunteer standpoint, through a fundraising standpoint. And we've just kind of created our own little ecosystem, and it's been an exciting ride, and we're looking forward to the future for sure.
Now, this week, of course, Pat, you made a big announcement. You decided to join with the Greater Property Group in a strategic alliance. Why the move to the GPG?
Great question. You should have asked me, why didn't you move sooner? We've been looking for a strategy like this for about 4 years. And, you and I and Nathan spoke over 2 years ago, right? And this thing called the COVID market hit, and everything went hell on wheels. And by the time we downshifted and put the clutch in, we ended up in a position where we really needed to move forward. And here's the number one reason, David. I opened a brokerage in 2014, not because I wanted to, because I felt I needed to. I needed a place where we could have autonomy and do the business the way that we want to do business without the restraints of the big box brokerages. And so I never got into this business to be a broker, never wanted to be. And so when we started looking for a way out, we were looking for brokers that, number one, fit like a glove, had the same vision, similar missions, similar attributes, and similar characteristics. And it is bizarre, like how perfectly that the Greater Property Group fits what is that we're trying to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And this week, since we announced it on July 10th, I've been like a kid in a candy store. So we're super excited about this opportunity.
Well, we're super excited to have you, Pat. Really looking forward to the future with you. What do you think this alliance will do to enhance the already great reputation of the Trilliant Real Estate Group?
Well, two things. Number one, we're no longer going to be bogged down by the nuances of running a brokerage. Okay. We found out years ago that there's no prosperity in monitoring that transaction. So that's first and foremost. Our vision is to create incredible real estate experiences and build friends and family for life along the way. And by doing a bunch of those compliance issues and contractual obligations, that took our eye off the ball a lot. So we're now going to be able to focus in on what it is that we want to accomplish as a group of people. And secondly, the Greater Property Group is not only going to enhance us, it's going to help us explode our local presence, just with their marketing, their reputation, their systems, the way they work, their back-end support. And I can't tell you, when I peeled the layers off a little bit deeper last week with your office manager, and I realized exactly what you guys were doing, that's everything that I wanted to create, but I didn't have the resources, the time, or the need to do it for a team of 10 people. It just didn't make any sense. So now you've created exactly what I wanted to create, and now we get to tap into it, so to speak. So that's where for the two reasons that I think it's going to take off for us. Well, I know it will.
Yeah. Great to hear. Thanks for the breakdown there. Now, what new and exciting possibilities do you see with your agents or for your agents with this move? How will this move to the GPG benefit your agent specifically, do you think?
Well, we'll break it down into one thing: access to your USPs. Okay. We come from that same, what would the word be, David? We were all kind of trained and kind of cut our teeth in this business with the USPs, and you've taken the good ones and made them better. and you've taken some new ones and given them life. And we'll be able to have a whole different marketing plan, your social media department, the fact that you're going to support us from a design standpoint, and as well as provide leadership, not only to me, but to my whole team. And I think, so the different layers that what you guys provide us are going to help us really accelerate to be able to do what our focus should always be. And that's to sell homes and make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this for years. This, Pat, USPs are absolutely everything.
Mhm.
If you don't have specific, unique selling propositions, calls to action right now with the current state of the real estate market, the way that people are shopping for real estate, how they're
Mhm.
picking agents and teams and brokerages. If you don't have those differentiators, if you don't have those USPs, you're going to have a really hard time going forward, because I think it's everything. And it's any sales service industry. It's not just real estate, it's mortgages, it's insurance, you name it. You have to have distinct USPs and calls to action. That's why it's so important. We've been talking about this for years. And of course, this, you've identified it as well. Additionally, we didn't talk about this too much, but the GPG now has a foothold on Southern Alberta, Central Alberta, and Edmonton, not to mention the newly opened office in Kelowna, which serves the interior. How do you think that will benefit your agents?
Well, the ecosystem that you guys are building is incredible. And you look at the quality of the people that you have in each of those markets. I mean, you take a look like Len T. Wong out of Calgary, who's a very dear friend of mine. And, now we will have the ability to collaborate on a much deeper level and be able to plug and play into each other's businesses. So the same can be had for anyone that's in the interior BC. And that is a huge opportunity. And to be honest with you, that's just a bonus. That's not the core reason why we came over, David. And to be able to plug into something like that, I don't even know what those possibilities are. I mean, endless, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the big question here, why should your clients be excited about this strategic alliance?
Well, really, bottom line is we're going to be able to do a way better job and to focus in on what's important in that transaction. What's going to affect their life in a positive way. That's what we're going to focus in on. Now we can be laser focused in on that instead, like I said, of all those other nuances of running a brokerage, trust accounts, compliance issues, FinTrack, all that kind of stuff. We can we still got to do what we're supposed to do, but we'll be able to really focus in on what's important for our clients.
Yeah. Actually, on that point, you did mention in your press release that this alliance, quote, aligns seamlessly with Trilliant Real Estate Group's vision and mission. By relieving us from the responsibilities of managing a brokerage, we can now devote our entire focus on what we excel at, providing remarkable real estate services that create meaningful and lasting relationships. So I'm sure that's music to your clients' ears.
Yeah, and that's the one that's been ringing over and over in my head every night when it hits the pillow, David. And that's my why, and that's what gets me going personally. And if you look at every agent and every person that's on this team, that's what drives us forward. And, our whole team came over in the move, and it was something that they're 100% excited about and just can't wait to kind of get going,
Yeah, fantastic. And again, we're excited to have you and get going with you.
Yeah.
Kind of a broad stroke question here, but I think it's important to talk about in the overall context of what's happening lately and why the move. What are your overall thoughts on the current state of the real estate industry? You've been in the industry a long time, so your overall thoughts, and how did that play into your decision?
Well, I've been in this 23 years. I just had my 23rd anniversary. And I was 12 when I got licensed. But
yeah, you and me too. Yeah.
It's changed so much. Like, I mean, obviously everyone knows about the days where you took pictures with Polaroids and you drove them into the board and they'd scan them and put them on. And there was this thing called the internet that you could actually go on. Yeah. Well, think about where it's and how far it's come. Like, to market a home now is, I mean, it's as complex and as easy as it's ever been, but you have to stay up with the trends. You have to always be trained. Like, I have a full-time coach that helps me be better every day for my team and for our industry. So it's changing quickly. Obviously, economy and interest rates and all those kind of things playing a part, but we're not big excuse makers here. With the Trilliant Real Estate Group, we're going to find a way to make sure that we can advance forward. Thus, the critical move over and the strategic alliance with the Greater Property Group. To me, it's just goes like this. And something that's going to have a huge positive effect on us.
Awesome. And final question, Pat,
Mhm.
the GPG is obviously growing, as you can see. What would you say to an agent or a team looking to make a change, or maybe they're just curious about what we're doing to help our agents, your agents, grow and scale their business in a changing industry? What would you say to them?
Well, it's funny. There's all sorts of brokerages out there. There's different models. There's this and there's that. There's expensive. There's not expensive. But you have to peel back the layers to what's the substance, right? What's the substance? And the fact that you guys provide those different levels of leadership, marketing, support, right? Availability to that leadership, as well as an incredible brand and everything that goes behind the marketing part of it. That's, to me, it's so affordable from our standpoint that not only was it a no-brainer, it was like, why did we take so long? But again, it was an ego thing for me, David. I had to put my ego aside and say, we're not a brokerage anymore. But at the end of the day, it's what's better for our clients and for our agents and for our team and for our community. And this obviously was the best move.
Fantastic. We're excited to have you with us. We're excited to have you as part of leadership as well. So thanks so much for sitting down with me to discuss this exciting news, the big announcement, Pat. Now, as the industry does change, we'll be paying attention to the progression and the evolution of the Trilliant Real Estate Group, along with the greater property group in the coming years. Thanks again, Pat. So excited to have you with us.
Awesome. Thanks, David. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk soon.